Good morning, Morgan, and good morning to any of you, Morgan's friends that happen to be watching the video. We're going to continue our look at lists. This is the second of 3 videos for the list function. Today, what are we going to do? Well, we're going to see what we can do if we, let me rephrase that. How we can work with the data that's stored in the cube. In this first example, we're changing a value in the cube list. In this particular case, we're going to change the 65 to 64. The next thing we're going to do is we showed you how we were adding things to the back end of the list in the other video with the concatenation operator. In this video, we're going to use the append function to do the same thing. Excuse me. And then in this next example, here we're using string data types. Here we're using the slice command, and we're actually changing some of the values in the list. And then over here, we're actually cutting a chunk out of the middle of the list. Okay? All right. Now let's go ahead and look at the manual. All right. Now we're in the manual. Now it's time to do our reading. Let's begin.
Unlike strings, which are immutable, lists are a mutable type, i.e., it is possible to change their content. Print cubes equals 1, 8, 27, 65, 125. Hashtag something's wrong here. For 3, hashtag the cube of 4 is 64, not 65. 64.
Okay, they're just giving you the reason why this value needs to be changed. And here's an example of how they do that. The index is a 3, which means it's the 4th item in the list because that's how the index works. And then it prints it, and we see that it took. We're going to actually do that in our code today. Let's continue.
You can also add new items at the end of the list by using the append method. We will see more about methods later.
Okay, there are a ton of methods that you can use to manipulate data that's stored in these objects. Okay, and here you go. We're using this append method instead of the concatenation operator. And here you'll see the results of that. We'll do this in the experimental code so you have a better idea. All right, back to the manual.
Assignment to slices is also possible, and this can even change the size of the list or clear it entirely.
Okay, so that's pretty powerful. You can change the list items. You can delete some of the list items, or you can just wipe out the whole list. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to run that as an example in the program so we can get a better idea of that. And that's exactly what we're going to know now. We're going to go over to the program and run it. And we're back in the code. And it's time for the fun part. All right, let's click the little start button and let's see what happens. And it was successful. All right, well, with that then, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the output. All right, here we are in the output. Now, for example 1, here's the code. This is what popped out. Okay, I've added some yellow highlight here to make the output stand out a little bit more. And of course, here is how we change it. Okay, this is the new part. We go to the fourth. We tell it to the fourth member of the list, change it to a 64. Didn't matter what it was before, now it's a 64. All right, and then here we use the append method to add 2 more numbers. In the first example, the sixth member becomes 216. And in the seventh one, it shows you that you can actually do some math inside this method if you wanted to, and then it goes in and times 7 by itself 3 times, and you get 343. All right, so that's the append method. Now, simple thing, it's the same as the first example, except we're using strings instead of integers. Now here's where it gets a little different. We're using the slice operator to change, starting in the position 3, because it's a 2. I know, I just add 1 to everything. It's so annoying. And we change the C, and it goes to 5. So I guess I don't know what that means. That's confusing. I might be getting this wrong. Anyway, the bottom line is we're replacing the next 3 members with capital C, D, and E. Okay? And then here, we're going back to the same section of code, and we're wiping it out. Example 5. Anyway, I hope that I didn't confuse you with the last 2 examples, because I kind of confused myself. But yeah, I can't remember what that 5 does. We know that the 2, I guess it's telling it to go start in position 2, which is 3, and then go, because the difference is 3 between the 2 and the 5. It's going like, okay, you're going to change the 3, the 4, and the 5. Okay? I'm guessing that's what it is, because that's what it did. Anyway, we're not going to go back to the code. I'm changing these videos as they go along, trying to refine them and make them a little better and more interesting. Anyway, I'll see you the next time when we handle the last little bit on the list. Okay? All right. I'll see you then. Bye.